God, I look good. Like, see, Lord, Nora, you look good. There are some days I wake up, I stare at my face in the mirror and I'm like, girl, why do you look like something the cat dragged in? But today, I look good. I look good. Like, there's just something about this that works. Which was part of the reason why I decided to film this video. Yes, please, just give me a second to marvel at my own beauty because, God, I look good. I look good.
I'm sexy. I'm cute. I'm popular to boot. I'm bitchin'. Great hair. The boys all love to stare.
Apologies. I know you all are like, oh my God, Nora is loving herself today. I know, like, it's just, and I think it's just, so I came back and I was like, I look good. I need to film a video. So I'm filming a video, and this time the video is the media freak out tag. Because if you all know anything about me and my channel, you all know I absolutely love doing tag videos. They give me life. Okay, so tag videos give me life. I love making them, and it's the media freak out tag, one of my favorite tag videos that I do practically every year. And so yeah, we're back again. I'm looking good to make one of my favorite videos. Let's just hope that this translates into views, because I know my posting has been eclectic for the last couple of weeks. If you all saw my last video, you know the reason why. If you have not seen my last video, you should totally check it out right now. Like, no, hold up, like, watch this video to the end and go check out that video. But yeah, anyway, so it's the media figure tag. This tag was created by the amazing Chami and Ellie. I'm going to leave the link to their original videos in the description bar, so you could go check it out, show them some love, be like, they created a Booktube staple that I can look forward to every year, and for that I'm forever grateful. So I have my phone here, so let's get into the tag questions. I think I am singing off key and I don't make no sense.
A few moments later.
The very first question says, best book you've read so far in 2021. And I'm just going to come out and say 2021 so far has been a very weird reading year for me. I've been reading like a very slow approach. I've not really been reading as much books as I usually do in other years, which is weird. So I don't have a lot of books, but I do have more than one favorite book, because like this is July, yo. This is July. So 6 whole months have passed. If you think I'm going to just pick one book, do you know me? Do you know me at all?
Don't know me.
Don't know me at all.
Don't know me.
Anyway, so the books I am picking for this question is one, Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is so good. We follow a lead character, Yadiel, who is desperate to be recognized as a bro in his family, whilst dealing with the fact that, you know, his family do not want, some of his family members have problems acknowledging the fact that he is a trans boy. I absolutely love it, and he also falls in love with a summoned ghost. Like, if you ever watched Ghosts, Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, I think that was what birthed my love for ghosts romances, and this was done so well. Like, it's funny, it's smart, it's witty, it's sarcastic, it's just so cute, and just Aiden Thomas did a great, fantastic job blessing us with the perfection like Cemetery Boys. So of course it's like, it was one of my favorite books. It was released last year, but I read it this year and I absolutely loved it. The second favorite book that I'm going to be picking for this question is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. You all know I've discovered N.K. Jemisin last year with The City We Became, which we all are aware I'm engaged to. Just in case you don't know, I'm still planning my marriage, because I'm still going to marry The City We Became. Like, I'm going to wear a dress and everything, and we're going to have a justice of the peace marry us, because I want to marry that book. But anyway, I ended up reading The Fifth Season this year as well. N.K. Jemisin is she's clearly one of my favorite authors, period. Because oh my God, this was so good. Esun as a character blew me away. The intricacies of this, the world building, exactly how she described origins and, like, you know, the magic system. It had a bit of magic, a bit of science fiction, and it was all told in this post-apocalyptic tale because the world is ending and we have characters all with their different motivations, and the way in which N.K. Jemisin was using multiple point of views, like this book is just good. This book was just great. So yes, those were the two of my favorite books of 2021 so far, and I'm loving the way everything is just coming together, because I know that there are going to be more books that I'm going to discover before the end of the year. The next question says best sequel you've read so far in 2021, and I wanted to put this in my best book, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to put it for best sequel because it still fits, and that is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I love this book to pieces. I love this book to pieces. This book just gives me life. This book is so good. It is so great. It's so amazing. It's witty, it's funny, it's sexy, it's hot. It is hot. And hot. We follow Eve. Eve, whose family is like, oh, you have to act your age, you have to grow up. When would you grow up, Eve? Because she has this burning fear of failure, and so rather than not fail, she will just like, dip when things are getting kind of hard. And this book is all about her one discovering, like not discovering, but like coming to terms with the fact that she's not a failure, and she is so smart and so talented, and like Eve is a goddess, and I loved seeing her come to that realization that, because she did have a traumatic experience from her past, which is the reason why she has been running ever since, and just her meeting Jacob and both of them bringing out the best in each other. Like, this book was told so well. It's the last book in the Brown Sisters trilogy, and so far Talia Hibbert like has hit every single one of those books out of the park for me. Like, I love it. Actually, AJ Brown, definitely my favorite sequel that I've read this year. The next question is new release you haven't read yet but want to, and for that I am going to go with Witches Steeped in Gold by Sharon Smart. This is my fairy lit edition. It is so pretty. How are you so fucking beautiful? Like, this book is gorgeous. Anyway, so Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart is definitely the book I'm picking for this. It's a new release. I've not read it yet, but I cannot wait to dive into it and really, really fall in love with it, because you have two girls, both of them are from opposing sides, but they unite for a common goal to bring down the witch who would see them both dead. And the two women are witches. Like, it's a collaboration of witches, and it's inspired by Jamaican myth and lore, and I have been looking forward to reading this book. Like, if you all saw my anticipated books of 2021 video, this book is on it, and I cannot wait to read it. So the next question says most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and there are so many books I could easily pick for this, but I'm going to pick my most anticipated of the most anticipated, and that is Belly of the Beast: The Politics of Anti-Fatness as Anti-Blackness by Dashawn L. Harrison. Like, I follow Dashawn on Twitter. They are one of my absolute favorite minds that I follow on Twitter. Every single time they come on board, especially when they are talking about just how the political undertones of how society treats fat black bodies, every single time they speak, it is truth. It is honest, unfiltered truth. It is much needed to hear truth. And the minute I found out that they had a book that was releasing this year, I immediately went to pre-order it. And I'm waiting for August when it's going to be released, and I can get into it, and I cannot wait to read it. And it is one of my most anticipated release, you all.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
Next question is biggest disappointment, and boy oh boy, do I have see, back when I was like, 50 Shades of Bullshit is the worst depiction of BDSM I've ever read in a book, and nothing else can compare to it. It is absolute trash. I still stand by that. But I was over here minding my business. Kindle Unlimited was like, you should read these books by Crystal Caswell. Was it? Yes, Crystal Caswell. The Dirty series, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, ooh, dirty. And it starts with this Cinderella Cinderella story whereby girl billionaire, they go into some form of deal agreement thingy, and it has BDSM undertones, and I'm like, the story could be better, but it's okay, it's manageable, it's okay, I'm not going to like lose sleep over it. And then I read the sequel, which was, see, that first one was Dirty Secret, right? So and then I read the sequel, which is Dirty Boss, and that is my biggest disappointment of the year. If it is possible for me to give a book no stars, I will give that book no stars. Dirty Boss was basically Dirty Secret, but dumber. Like, I don't understand how it is that a book was already on the lowest of the low pedestal for me. Like, it was beneath my feet, and then the sequel decided to go underneath the earth core. That was just how much of a letdown already a substandard for me story was. I was disappointed. I was like, what is this? It was a replication of the entire story that came with the first book. Like, the second book was an exact replication of that. The only difference was that it even did it worse. And you had a character, a girl that was just so persistent in how she was chasing the guy that she'd liked, to the point that she was not respecting his boundaries. She was not listening to him saying no. She was just like, nah, he does not really mean it. I see how he looks at me, and I'm like, I do not understand this. This is harassment. That girl should not get a happily ever after. She should be in jail. She should be getting a restraining order, because what on earth was that?
Disappointed!
Next question is biggest surprise. And honestly, I'm certain everybody will be like, what? But I'm going to go with Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I have never read the series ever. I did not watch the movies because I had friends that were like, the movies are absolutely trash. Please do not like watch it. Just wait until you read the book. So I finally read the book, and I'm just like pleasantly surprised, because I'm like, 12-year-old Noria would have read this book and I would have loved this book. And a part of me is sad that I never read it as a preteen, but the second best time to ever discover a book you would enjoy and a series you would love is now, right? Like, the best time was in the past when it was like really hyped and you could get into it, but best time is now. You all know how much I love mythology, especially Greek mythology, and the way in which Rick Riordan is able to explore it and really depict it in this book. Like, there are little mentions and nods, and I'm like, oh my god, it's this, oh my god, it's that, and I felt so excited. I was like, oh, this is so good. So yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was funny. It was pretty easy to grasp. There were the central story. I could guess some of the twists that were coming, but it was still a very enjoyable read for me. So yeah, this was definitely my biggest surprise. I did not think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, which I'm like, yo, Nora, everybody said you were going to enjoy it, so why didn't you believe it? I don't know. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? So it can either be a debut author or a new to you author. And honestly, I'm just going to go with Aiden Thomas. Like, when I finished Cemetery Boys, I immediately pre-ordered Into the Neverwoods, which I already have as well, and I cannot wait to read it because I just love the way they write. I love the stories, the characters. There's an authenticity to the story that they're telling. These characters are very funny. Like, you know, some authors try so hard to be funny, and then you have some authors that do it so effortlessly well. Aiden Thomas does it effortlessly well, and I really enjoy their writing. I really enjoy just exactly how they explore this concept, and it makes me very happy. They are one of my favorite authors that I discovered this year. So far, yes. So the next question says, newest fictional crush. Honestly, for me, my newest fictional crush for me has to be Essun from the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. Essun can crush my head between her thighs, her thick thighs. Like, thighs. She can crush it. My head. She can turn my head into a watermelon popo. I don't care. I would die gladly between her thighs. That was inappropriate. But yes, I love Essun as a character. She's not the most likable character, but I absolutely adore her. I love the strength and force of her character and will to see her progress, because I did call the surprise and all of that like earlier on when I was reading the book. I was like, what if this is actually this? And I was right. But anyway, just to see her progress throughout the entire story and to understand where she's coming from and how that contributed to who she is. She's flawed, yes. She makes mistakes, yes, especially with the way in which she raised her children. but she's a flawed human being, and I could understand it. And the depth of her emotions, I could feel it, and I absolutely adore her. Esun is one of my favorite characters, like favorite characters, favorite crushes.
Love her.
The next question is newest favorite character. And honestly, I'm like, Esun is my favorite crush, but she's also my favorite character. But if I just wanted to pick someone else, because my favorite book, y'all, of course, I'm going to actually pick Yadriel. I think that Yadriel is a character that is just an absolute badass. He knows what he wants. He goes after it. Sometimes he's scared. Sometimes he's worried. Sometimes he's like, okay, should I press? Should I demand what is owed me? Should I demand the respect and recognition from my family? And sometimes he wants to hold back, and he keeps going anyway. He would do the right thing, even if it is that it's like, this is just hard. He would do it. And there was just this scene at the end when he had the balls to challenge an entity that others would be terrified of. And it's like, no, this is what I want. You better give me what I want. I'm just like, Yadriel, I love you. My precious son is favorite character. It's a toss-up. It's a tie. It's a three-way tie, actually, between three characters in this book. So it's Yadriel, Julian, and Maritza. Like, I love all three of them, my babies. I would protect them with my very soul. So yes, they are my absolute favorite. The 10th question says, book that made you cry. Book that made me cry. Dirty Boss by Crystal Caswell, because I expected better. Yes, they were not tears of pain. They were tears of disappointment, tears of rage, tears of, that's like 12 hours of my life I can never get back. Tears of, oh my God, what a waste of my Kindle battery. Tears of, what is this? I was crying tears of frustration. So yeah, that is definitely a book that made me cry. I cried a lot.
Waste of our time. Fucking waste of our time.
The next question says, book that made you happy. And honestly, this book right here, like the entire Brown Sisters series, they are one of the most fun, absolute, total, complete fun books I've ever read. And every single time I get into them again, I just smile. And when I started this book and I met Eve, and I was just laughing, like the very first chapter, like the first two chapters had me in stitches, and I just knew I was going to laugh all the way through, and I was right. It's beautiful, it's funny, it's so funny. There's a likeness to it that just makes me so happy. So yeah, I would say Actor A.J. Brown was a book that made me happy. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. This book, like, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that book. Isn't that the most gorgeous book? Like, this Witches Steeped in Gold, this is the Fairy Loot edition. It's just stunning. Like, this is the book naked. This is a book naked. Like, look at that. And of course, it has a ribbon bookmark. It's just complete. And this is what the inner pages of it looks like. Like, it's the most beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, witchy book I have ever received. And I love pretty books so much. They just bring me so much joy. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I would say a lot of books. I'm not going to mention every one of them because I want to read a lot of the books I have on these shelves. I definitely want to read the first book in the Witcher series and the first book in Robin Hood's Realm of the Elderling series. Everything else, I definitely want to read Witches Steeped in Gold, like I said. I want to read The Taking of Jake Livingston. I want to read Iron Widow. Like, there are so many books I want to read before the end of this year. So little time though, but like so many books I want to read. But yeah, that is the end of my mid-year freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, what are some books you're looking forward to reading before the end of the year? Drop it in the comments. Your girl is curious and your girl wants to know. But that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the very end of it. Please make sure you do not forget to leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, I make new videos 2 times a week. Sometimes once a week, depends on how my week is going. And I will see you soon. Until next time, stay passionate, stay nerdy, love yourself. Bye.